Hi everybody, my name is Dave and today we're going to build a garden box. This is going to be an 8x4 by 1 foot high garden box, and you can have your garden now self-contained. These are cedar 2x4s and 4x4, and I'm going to show you how to build it just flush to the top of the box. But I'm also going to show you how we can extend the 4x4s up, cut them in an angle, and put old windows like the one you see in the background. Now, I have an old house on my property right there in the back, and it had all these old windows. I replaced it. I kind of use it as a barn right now. And all the windows that I have over 40 windows, and I can use that as the roof of my greenhouse. That's why I'm going to leave the 4x4s longer, but I'll show you how to do it in case you wanted to do it flat. But I'm going to extend it up, cut it in an angle, and I'm going to put them like a roof on an angle so that when the sun comes through, and that will extend my gardening into the fall months, and actually I can start sapling, the little seeds and do that in the greenhouse. So there it is. I'm going to show you all the things you need. We're going to talk about materials. I'm going to get my car over there, and it's got a whole bunch of garden bags, garden soil bags, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, let me show you what you need for this project. It's a very simple project. You need a chop saw, or you can use a circular saw, or if you feel like getting an exercise, you can use a hand saw. I recommend a chop saw that you can miter turn it so that you can get it in 45 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever degrees you want for your post. Now, speaking of posts, this is a 4x4 that we have here. It's not actually 4x4, it's 3.5 by 3.5. Just to keep that in mind, I have 9 planks here. They're all 8 feet. Everything's 8 feet. Make sure that you check to see that they're all exactly 8 feet in length. And one thing to note is that when you're working with 2x4s, when they produce them, they're really not 4 inches. They're 3.5 to 3.75. And what you have to do is, because this is one of the walls, you have to measure and see what it gives you. So it's going to give you 10.5 inches because they're 3.5, and 3.5 times 3 is 10.5 inches. So that's how you're going to make your 4x4. You're going to make them 10.5 inches. You're going to make 4 of these with the 8-foot piece that you have. As far as these go, you're just going to put them together. You're going to put the 4x4 in, and you're going to pre-drill with our drill bit, smaller than the size of the nail, and then you're going to run your nails right into the 4x4. You're going to do that in all 4 corners, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Now, you need a tape measure, of course, and you need a screw gun, and you probably want to use screws that are resistant to the weather. You don't want to use regular drywall screws because they will rust and crack in half. And you don't want to use galvanized screws, believe it or not, with cedar, because it will bleed, and then you'll get all these, streaking lines. But it is a garden box, so it doesn't really matter. So you can use galvanized screws. Those are the silver ones. But I use these deck screws. You need 2.5 inch 9s so that you can drill them in, and it bites into the post that you're going to put. So we have that, and we have our screw gun. We have our square so that we could square off a line. We'll put that right onto a board there, and then this way we can scribe with the pencil a nice clean line. Use some safety goggles if you feel like Bob Vila. You can go ahead and do that. Now let me talk to you about filter fabric. Now, filter fabric is going to be put at the bottom of the box. There's going to be 2 8-foot sheets. Of course, you're going to cut them a little longer than 8 foot because you want to wrap them up and you want to staple them in. You should have a staple gun, but you can use flat roofing nails if you like, or just throw it on the ground and put the box right on it. It's all up to you. Now, there's different materials of filter fabric. Now, this one is made out of like a plastic. And what's bad about this is when the sun hits it and you got some stone or you got something on it, it sort of kind of melts. If you leave it out in the sun, you'll see that they'll start getting stuck to each other. And you might not want to use this. The best one to use is this. This is like a polyester material. It's woven so that it's strong, very durable, and I recommend spending the extra and getting a roll of this. They come in 4 foot wide. They go 25 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever you like. So try to use a good filter fabric underneath. You're going to replace it every year, of course, when you empty the box, if you choose to empty the box. Now, we also have some garden soil I'm going to talk to you about in a couple of seconds. So basically, that's pretty much it. It's going to be a very easy project. We're going to, cut the 4x4 to length. We're going to screw everything in, and we'll be golden. So let's get to the topsoil now, and I'll show you some of the plants. Now, I have some garden soil here that I bought from Walmart. And I got these on a special price. That's why I bought a lot of bags. But basically, in a garden, you only need 2, 4, or 6 inches. And there's a chart here on the back. It tells you how many bags you need. I'm going to go with like 3 inches. And I'm going to put regular earth dirt, that brown dirt. And I'm going to put that underneath. And I'm going to throw 3 inches of this garden soil. And we're going to mix it in. Right there in the box, or you could do it separate in a wheelbarrow. These are 2 foot square each bag. So if they sell the smaller ones, they're 1 foot square. So that means 1 by 1 by 1, or 2 by 2 by 2, and that's the the volume that you get from that. So we're going to use these bags. Leave them in the car for now. I transported them. I got them for a great price, $7 a bag, and they're normally about $5 for the 1 square foot bag. I got a bunch of vegetable plants here. I got the tomatoes, I got zucchini, squash, all that good stuff. I even got a jalapeno pepper plant, and we'll see how good it does. I get a lot of sun where I am. So let's get started with the cuts. Now, as far as cedar goes, our cedar planks are more expensive than the usual pine 2x4s. I paid, I think, about $7 each for each of these 2x4s, and normally you can get 2x4s for half the price, but you do want to use cedar. So let's get started now. I'll tell you how to make all the measurements. We'll pre-drill and screw everything together, and then we're going to put the box in a location. We'll level it off, put our filter fabric underneath, and we'll be all set. So like I said earlier, let's start. We have 10.5 inches. For these 3 boards together. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull over our 4x4. And we're going to put it right here. And we're going to show you how to do our measurements here. So, okay, so with our 4x4 in front of us, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these 10.5 inches. As you can recall, the 3 2x4s side by side to each other equals out to 10.5 inches. So we'll take our tape measure, we'll measure 10.5 inches. This way, the 4x4 corner posts will be exactly flush with the top of the 2x4s. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make them longer. I'm going to measure out 2 feet because this is an 8 foot. I can get 4 of them out of here. 2 feet. And what I did was I scribed the line at the 2 feet and brought it across. So when I turn my miter saw, I'm going to go exactly on this cut, so that I get my post sticking up higher, so that I can place that old window right on here in an angle and make sort of like a roof greenhouse effect kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Now we can turn the miter saw, we'll cut it at 45 degrees. So what you're going to want to do to make these perfect, same exact size, is you want to put your blade on the left of the line that you make. This way, they're exactly what they are. Now, if you cut on the right of it, you're going to shorten the post, and they're not all going to be exact. But whatever you choose to do, just make sure you do it for all 4 cuts. Remember always to measure twice, cut once. So always double check to make sure right before you cut that you have exactly what you're looking for. So we'll make sure that the 4x4 is level with the saw. Put a block underneath the other side. This way it's not in an angle. So always test your... Now, the 4x4 didn't cut all the way through, so you're just going to get a little bit of a handsaw and cut right through that. But if you're making a straight cut, then you just flip the board and cut exactly where you left off. Now after you made that first cut, you're going to have this side that's cut. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just flip it like this, and we're going to measure it 2 feet exactly here. We're going to make it 2 feet, and we're going to make a straight cut this time. So let's fix this all back again to straight. And we'll make our measurement 2 feet on the pointy end. So we'll first mark it exactly 2 feet, and we're going to scribe pencil broke. You should use a masonry pencil. It's that flat one, but you can just use this and just keep sharpening it. A good sharp pencil is perfect for these projects. When you have a dull pencil, you get nothing but problems. It's always nice to have a nice sharp pencil. So we're gonna have 2 feet exactly. We'll double check it because we only have one of these, and we'll just make sure we're at 2 feet. Remember, I'm always cutting on the same side of the line every time I cut. And there we have it. If we put these two side by side each other, they're going to be perfectly the same length. Okay. All right, so now we got the straight cut on this, and we'll now move it down to our 2 foot mark. 2 feet. We made it 2 feet. We got our line there. Flip it over. And we have our 45. And that's our last straight cut piece. Now you may notice that I don't have a guard on my chop saw. Sometimes the guard gets in the way when you're, doing this for a long time. You make shortcuts, I guess. So shame on me. All right, so now we got all 4 of our 4x4s exactly the same length. We could start building our box. Just to have a lesson learned, like I said, these boards don't exactly come 8 feet exactly. So I'm going to show you. As long as they're all the same size, that's fine. So see here, 8 feet and a half, or it's about 8.5 inches long, a little bit longer than that. So as long as they're all the same, you're okay. Now as far as the 4x4, I put them back together again, just to show you, when you're making angled cuts, you reduce the length of the cut. So even though this is 2 feet exactly, it's less here, and then you get that at the end with that little block. Save this block. We're going to split it in half. I'm going to put it up on the sides to hold up the 2x4s. All right, so basically we're going to screw a pilot hole, and we're going to drill a pilot hole. And you want to offset it a little bit. And then offset. And then offset. You want to pre-drill because cedar tends to crack very easy. So now we'll just throw our screws in. We'll start from the bottom. We'll move these out of the way. We'll start at the bottom. We'll make sure we're flush with the bottom here and flush with the side. Now these particular screws, they're a different sort of tip. They're not the usual Phillips. And it comes with it right in the package there. So we can put that onto our bit, and we can use that. So now, as you put this next board on, just squeeze the 2 boards together. Make sure sure you're flush. And we'll do that with the third board. Make sure it's always flush. We'll do all 4 corners, and then I'll show you this. I'll do the 2 sides, and then I'll show you how to tie in the corner with the other 2-foot 2x4. So basically, it's going to go in just like this. All right, but of course, all even, perfect. And the other good thing about making this post extra long is you can keep your critters out. You can put a mesh fence around the outside of this, all the way around the box, to keep rabbits from jumping in or other animals. Plus I have this angle here, I can put my little roof on it. Glass is the best thing to use, but you can use all those other materials for greenhouses that you want. And I just think that that's a you know, great idea to make them a little bit longer, of course, and on an angle, so you can do all those things. You can use rolls like this. This is like a screen for a screen, you know, like a screen in your house, in the windows. So you can pretty much put this on at the bottom, and that will keep the burrowing critters from coming up from underneath and getting your vegetables. So, and you know, of course you would put filter fabric first and then this underneath as well, so that it's strong. And then even when you're emptying your box, you'll run the shovel across this. It's a little bit stronger than the filter fabric. So you might want to consider that too if you have a pest or an animal creature problem that they burrow from underneath. So I'm going to put this together. Now the beauty of using screws is when you're done with it at the end of the year, if you wanted to put it away, maybe underneath a porch or something like that, you could just take the 6 screws out on the side here, take it apart, put it together, tuck it underneath, tuck it away. You could do that too. Take the used dirt, put it in a pile somewhere, mix it in with some loam or whatever, and start over again next year. So we're going to put it together. I'm going to pre-drill everything, take the screws out. It's easier to carry. You got to remember where you build it is not necessarily where you're going to put it. So I'm going to carry one piece at a time and these boards, and then when I get to the site, I'm going to put the screws back and shoo them back in again. Okay, we're done building the box. There it is, nice and solid. All the posts are on the inside. Let's bring it to the site. We'll flip it over, put the filter fabric or that mesh, and we're good to go. So basically, I got it where I want it. And you just have to make sure that it's all level. I put these little red blocks in there. I'm gonna straighten out all this stone dust underneath it so that's perfectly level with the bottom. Pack it down a little bit, and then pack around the outside and cover up those stones there. And then I'm going to scribe a line on the outside here, and then we're just going to flip this over, put the filter fabric, and put it right back down on to its spot. Okay, now we're ready for dirt. So there you have it, your beautiful garden. Plan out your plants, get some water on them, get some sun on them, get your hands dirty, enjoy your garden box. This has been Dave, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.